I'd like to call the April 21st awards meeting to order. We have a physical quorum represented by Joe Orfano, Blake Osner serving for Laura Dutton, Jackie Shield for Hai Vu, and Stephen Daz. We also have Ricky Erickson attending online. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Rebecca Levy, and Budget is represented by Lori Whitmer. Before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll note that there isn't anyone physically present for public comment. Haley, did you receive any public comment via email?
No comments at this time.
Thank you. Let the record show we did not receive any public comment. I'll pause for a moment to allow callers joining us online to unmute and speak up.
Mr. Chair, just one slight correction. We've got Regina Ross with us today from OGC.
My apologies. That's really important. Thank you, Regina, for joining us. All right, hearing no comments, we'll proceed with today's regular agenda. On today's agenda, we have items 1 through 9 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. These items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee. Beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from the April 7th, 2022 Awards Committee meeting. Are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? Okay, may I get a motion to approve award item 1?
Move to approve item 1. Joe Orfano, second.
Okay, we have a motion from Blake Osner, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to walk us through each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 2.
Thank you. Through the chair, award item 2 is an invitation for to negotiate. This is for the Kennedy Generating Station transformer. It's a 69 kV to 4.16 kV transformer. Prolec GE is our recommended awardee in the amount of $523,319. We had 2 responses that were received. JEA made clarification requests and asked for price certainty options in the best and final offer. Neither company elected to revise their prices, lead times, or price adjustment requirements. And both companies made representation that their bid prices that were submitted and lead times are subject to change within 30 days or less due to market volatility. The evaluation was based 100% on the evaluated price, excuse me, which takes into account load losses and lead time. We'll note that the transformer price will be subject to price adjustments through materials release. And then if we look at price adjustment indices in this contract, they're based on public market indices and will be applied to 50% of the price. Just for reference, the PPI for large specialty transformers was approximately up 30% in 2021. So I'll pause there and ask the committee if you guys have any questions or comments. All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 2?
Jackie Shield, motion to approve.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Jackie Shield, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 3.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 3 is an invitation for bid. This is for our Indigo Drive pump station construction and Copper Circle pump station demo. This project is 100% reimbursable by FDOT and is required for FDOT to complete the widening of I-95 in Duval County. Tbm Constructors Inc is our recommended awardee in the amount of $1,181,051.55. We expect this project to be completed in February of 2023. We went out to bid and opened at the beginning of March. We only received one bid, or excuse me, at the beginning of April, we only received one bid, decided not to open, and extended the due date another week to encourage additional vendor participation. We still only received one bid, and when we talked to the other potential bidders, they indicated they didn't have the time or the resources to propose. If we look at the award amount, it is about 40% lower than our budget estimate. The low bid amount is believed to be due to the bidders specializing in construction of small JEA lift stations, the contractor already having the pumps needed for the project, and the proximity of the contractor's office to the project site. As noted already, JEA's, we are being reimbursed by FDOT by 100%, but JEA is contracting directly with this vendor versus what you would typically see where we would prepay FDOT and they would bid it out for us. When we talked to them about this project in particular, FDOT did not feel comfortable with the roadway contractor subcontracting for this work and being able to complete it on time without undue burdens to the roadway project. So this is a little bit more specialized, so we bid that out on our own. I'll stop there and see if you guys have any questions or comments. All right, seeing none, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. Get a motion to approve award item 3.
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Blake Osner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. Pass it over to Jenny to present award item 4.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 4 is an invitation to negotiate. This is for brand management printing. So this is for printing and mailing services for a variety of items for JEA. We put as many as the majority of the anticipated printing and mailing services in our bid workbook. However, this does not guarantee that every item will be produced or excluded other items from being added. Any services that are not required to be performed by the respondent in-house may be subcontracted and must be billed to JEA at cost without a markup for this one. The Hartley Press is our recommended awardee in the amount of $1,402,634.50. This is a 5-year award with 1 optional year renewal. We received 2 bids. We also reached out to others that did not participate. One responded and said that the scope was just not a great fit for their company. I'll also note that this ITN was evaluated only on price, and a best and final offer was not requested. That was primarily due to limited local market competition, the second competitive bid coming in much higher in all areas, and the expected market increases in volatility. The ITN process was primarily used to allow flexibility for clarifications, scope changes, et cetera, which did not occur. And then lastly, I'll note that item number 1, bill insert, double parallel fold was included in the bid, but later was determined it was no longer needed as the usage was covered in line the item 2 bill inserts. So we reduced the award amount. If you look at the amount that was submitted, we reduced that by about $713,000. We also included $125,000 in miscellaneous items, supplemental work allowances, not specified in the workbook. So if there are things that we need to add, we do have an SWA included. Hartley Press is our current incumbent. They have high quality work, and high level of customer service. So we've been very happy with their product and output. And then I think it's important to note from a price increase perspective, we are seeing on average, when we look at apples to apples line items, about a 47% increase. After digging into that a little bit, what we have found is that both cost and availability on paper industry-wide is hard to come by. So costs are increasing because of the inability to get paper. We also note that the last contract was a 5-year award and the prices were fixed through the entire term of the contract. So there were no increases from what they priced 5 years ago. So you're going to see inherently a larger jump in prices with the market today from a labor perspective, again, the material perspective of paper. And when we look at the PPI for paper, we confirmed it is up 21% since the last time we bid. So that accounts for a lot of this increase, as mentioned. With the volatility of the market, the rates are only fixed for the first year, and we will allow CPI adjustments on this contract for years 2 through 5. So I will pause. That was a lot of information. Just want to make sure you guys had the big picture and see if you guys have any questions or comments.
I have one question for you, Jenny. This is Blake. Is the majority of this product customer facing? You know?
I think Nathan is on. He can answer that for us.
Yes, I am. Good morning, guys. This is Nathan. Mike Cadden's also on too from the business side, but I believe so. Blake, to answer your question, that most of it is customer facing. I know if you look at the item list, there are a few like employee calendar type items that would not necessarily be customer facing. However, I believe most everything else on this list would be. Is that right, Mike? If you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, with the exception of the employee calendar and the safety stickers, which are, that's a relatively small part of this contract. But yeah, those are the only two things that are not customer facing.
Thank you. I'll add that some folks still want to get a printed annual report, which kills me, but that's a pretty high cost as part of this, and it's unavoidable, unfortunately.
Color, glossy.
I know, I don't get it, but it's a reality.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Any other questions? I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 4?
This is Blake, I'll move.
And a second?
Jackie Shield, I'll second.
We have a motion from Blake Osmer, a second from Jackie Shield. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 5.
Wonderful, thank you. Award number 5 is a piggyback, and this is for on-prem Oracle e-business suite migration to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So I'm glad that Nathan and Katura are on the line. Always like to have them kind of explain these a little bit more technical type awards, but as just kind of a very high level moving e-business suite into the cloud is the primary function of this contract. I'll go through some of the specifics on price and the awardee, and then I'll pass it over to the business to give you guys any more details they want to add. But this is the recommended awardee is Insight Public Sector in the amount of $2,382,922.80. We expect this project to be completed December of 2022. As you kind of see when you dig into the background, this was a piggyback off of NESPO competitively bid contract. The work will include 33 weeks of professional implementation services, and those will be performed by Accenture. And so this is set up a little differently. We have Insight Public Sector is our contract administrator reseller, and Accenture is the professional services, and how this bid was put together when they submitted for NASPO. So a little differently, that's why you see us awarding to Insight Public Sector, and they've partnered with Accenture to do this work. The modernization will also include the implementation of a robust cloud security architecture firewall solution. And as noted in the background, this was approved by the ERP steering committee at the end of March. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to see if Katura, do you have anything you want to add? Any other details that I left out?
Not at this time, Jenny. You covered the fact that this is a piggyback and it was approved by the steering committee. This is the execution part when we came to awards for the actual infrastructure move that is going to take our on-premise engineered system from the on-site location to the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, and that will be housed in an Oracle tenant that will be carved out for JEA. And this is the work to actually execute on that move. But I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. That was a great segue. Any questions from the committee?
Jenny,
Yes, sir.
so we decided to do a piggyback because we were concerned that we couldn't get the same pricing if we bid it ourselves, or kind of the thoughts behind the piggyback. I'm just curious.
That's a great question. Katura and
Take
Nathan, do you
that.
guys want to? Sure.
So at the time we started the discussions, Ricky, in order to determine whether or not this was the best move for JEA, we looked specifically for Oracle partners who had done this work. We talked to roughly 5 partners, narrowed it down to 3, and then down to 1 with Accenture. And we looked specifically because of the time constraint that we had around doing this, for someone that had an existing NASPO agreement that we could leverage. So it was 2 parts for us, them having a NASPO agreement that we could leverage, and also having done a like for like in the scope of work that we need to be completed.
It's really a timing thing more than anything I'm hearing.
So the timing comes in because we have the Oracle database that we currently are running is going to be de-supported on July 31st. So at the time that we started working on this, which was roughly January, we had a time constraint that we were working against, and we knew the solicitation process would impact us because that process typically takes 2 to 3 months. We thought it made sense. I spoke with Nathan about it to look for an Oracle partner who had done the work, who had an existing NASPO agreement. But the time constraint is a huge factor for us related to this.
Nathan, do you want to chime in, or from a cost comparison standpoint, from the rates that were submitted with these analysts compared to when typically something like this, we would probably benefit from a larger contract from a rate perspective. But I'll let Nathan, were you able to do any of that research prior to?
So we primarily looked at other governmental agreements, and I know we, Katura and the business side, looked at other vendors as well, and other public agreements. And these rates were comparable. These are the exact rates that are in the NASPO competitively bid agreement. So we did validate all the rates to make sure that they were, matched everything that was in that contract. So, yeah.
Great. Any other questions, comments?
Jenny, I'd just like to add on behalf of the technology services team, prior to January, there was a lot of effort spent evaluating options of whether or not we could upgrade particular pieces and parts of the environment that we have on premise before we do the migration, et cetera. And it was determined that this was the best course of action to basically migrate the whole platform as it is to the Oracle Cloud. And at the end of this, we're still working against a fixed time that we need to address the database. But at the end of the day, we're also looking at aged legacy equipment and renewals that will be coming up. So it was determined that it was best to move the whole platform.
Steven?
All right, thank you. I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 5?
This is Blake, so moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Blake Osner, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you through the chair. Award number 6 is an invitation for bid. This is for construction services for the rebuild of the 69 kV single circuit transmission line, both inside an existing JEA transmission line easement and road right-of-way. Also includes pole, wire installation, removal, and then tree debris removal. SPE Utilities Contractor, LLC is our recommended awardee in the amount of $7,389,461.51. We expect this project to be completed in March of 2023. JEA received 4 bids, 100% price for an evaluation perspective. And you can see the prices were quite a bit over, all 4 prices were quite a bit over our budget estimate, but the low bid in particular was about 50% more than our budget estimate. So when we look at what the estimate was based off of was historical schedules of value, which well preceded the last budget estimate that was performed in December of 2021. Since that time, fuel prices have doubled, rental equipment rates are up, and material prices for aggregate and concrete are up as well. We also, a lot of these services are going to be performed by subcontractors, so we do have a markup from the primes. The business has trended additional funds in the project to cover the overage, but as a whole, that's where we stand on this one. The next low bid was came in at almost $9.6 million. So I'll pause there and ask the committee if you guys have any questions or comments. All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
Jackie Shields, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Jackie Shield, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 7 is a rescind. This is for Kennedy Generating Station Control Room upgrades. You guys have seen this once before. We previously bid and rescinded at the awards committee at the end of April of 2021. JEA viewed the price of the project for and the design cost was prohibited. The original scope included a 2-story building inside KGS warehouse, and JEA elected to go back out, review project requirements, and redesign the project at an alternative location at KGS Pump Shop Mezzanine to evaluate the potential to lower costs for this one. That is what this bid is. So we went back out and advertised in September. 3 3 prime contractors submitted, and pricing, although lower than the first bid, are still over budget, even with the redesigned scope. So JEA expected prices to be more in line with the budget, which was not the outcome for this one. So after review, quite a bit of review and consideration of the current market conditions, increases on labor and materials, we have elected to rescind a second time. Although a different scope, it is for kind of the same concept of what we were trying to accomplish. JEA is looking at an alternative design to rebid this and has been approved by the business, and that design should be completed by July of 2022. So the thought is to go try one more time, third time's the charm, to see if we can find something that works for this project within a reasonable budget for JEA to move forward on. Are there any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the committee for a vote.
And may I get a motion to approve award item 7?
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. Pass it over to Jenny to present award item 8.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 8 is a contract increase. This is for miscellaneous electric items for inventory. Primary use of these items is to support the operations of JEA and can best be described as general electrical items ranging from meter locking rings to bushings to capacitor banks. Stuart C. Irby is the only change that we are making to the overall contract. Originally, we awarded to 4 different vendors, but the Stuart Irby contract is, for this request, is being asked to increase in the amount of $283,954.71. Again, nothing else is changing. The terms aren't changing. Really, the prices aren't changing. What has changed, and the 2 main factors would be the cell formula. There was an error in the cell formula in Excel when we originally went out to bid. So it was supposed to have 108 items. The 8 was left off, and we only had 10 items listed there. And we did not catch it when we brought it to the awards committee the first time. The second factor, also with that same item, this is for radio transmission, the radio transmission unit. We've seen an unforeseen usage of and demand of that product for the supervisory control and data, like the SCADA system upgrade project that we're doing. And so the additional impact to that line item has been an additional 67 units over the forecast. So just those 2 factors alone bring the forecast, that one forecasted item, from 10 units to 175 units, which is the majority of this increase. We did look at some of the other items. We needed to also make a few adjustments based on changes in the estimates, nothing significant, but then also to align with some minimum order quantities that have been presented to us. And so we believe that this will provide us sufficient funds for the remaining 8 months of this agreement. As I stated before, this is a fixed price contract. It's only for a year. And we do have some renewal options, but this was really just an increase in our estimates for what we project the usage to be. Any questions or comments?
Jackie Shield, question, just curious. Was there any discounted rate for the quantity increase, or is it just a per unit straight for per number?
We did ask Stuart Irby that, but no, it'll be the same price they bid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a great question. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. May I get a motion to approve award item 8?
Jackie Shields, so moved.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion from Jackie Shield, a second from Blake Osner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present our final award item for today.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 9 was an invitation for bid. This is for the construction services for the SIP Southside Boulevard intertie to Deerwood number 3 water treatment plant. This is the SIP's water main and raw water main segment number 1 project. JB Coxwell Contracting Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $21,905,030.35. We expect this project to be completed in September of 2025. JE received 5 bids, and I will just note that the award amount of the 21, almost 22 million, includes 3 different allowance amounts that are being added to the contract to allow for potential cost increases during the contract. We were getting a lot of feedback from these vendors that they could not hold pipe pricing. So that is something new that we are trying on this project. We have a pipe surcharge allowance in the amount of about $56,000. We base that allowance upon information solicited from the pipe manufacturers related to the potential for raw material price increases for ductile iron pipe. Also based on the anticipated weight of the pipe, to be purchased. So that's one. And then we have just the normal SWA allowance for water main, the water main project, and then the raw water main project. So there's 3 different allowances, 2 SWAs, and 1 surcharge allowance. So what we're trying to accomplish is just an overall fair, competitive market from the vendors. So because this is based on low bid, if we were to award the low bid and then they ask for price increases, would that bump them up above somebody else? So we took that out of the equation and allowed for that pipe surcharge to be across the board for everybody, and gave them some assurances that they could bid appropriately, knowing that they had that option if approved at the time from these allowances have to be approved by JEA for them to get them. So this is something that we are trying. This is new, and we'll certainly be looking to see how this contract works, plays out. We'll be comparing it to the market as well when we look at approvals for increases. Just another mitigation effort to try to receive best pricing we can when we're bidding this out, and then being able to review when it comes time to purchase that pipe. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 9?
Blake, so moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Blake Osner, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is adopted. The entire agenda representing items 1 through 9 is approved for April 21st, 2022. Before I open up the floor to comments, congratulations are in order for Lynn Ricks. She has recently transitioned to the water wastewater purchasing agent role, and she's done a wonderful job of supporting this team. I'd like to thank you for that and also congratulate you on your promotion.
Yay, Lynn.
Well deserved, Lynn. Thank you.
Ricky's losing a good assistant, but Hy and Jackie are gaining quite a valuable resource on the purchasing agent side. Have no doubt that she will just be excellent in transitioning up from that promotion.
For sure. All right. So, is there any other business to come before the awards committee at this time? All right. Seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.